see here. Make sure everything's working. Check, 1, 2. All right. This is a new experience. It says we're live. Should be coming up. There we go. All right, so there is a 30-second delay, so I got to warn everybody about that. Mute that. There we go. All right, well, this is the first time I've done one of these kind of videos where I'm just talking to whomever would like to watch. I hope there will be some people watching today. By the way, my name is Bryan. Nice to see you all. Dean is watching. Awesome. Very cool. Good morning to you, sir. Just to let you know what this is all about. Essentially, I'm running a company where we teach photography, and it's called Daytripper Photo. Dean has been a part of that, and quite a few other people in our community have, which is pretty sweet. There are some weird times going on right now, and obviously not a lot of people can get outside or hang out with other people or do the things that they really want to do. So it's becoming depressing for everybody. It's becoming boring, I guess you could say, for people to just kind of hang out at home and do nothing all day. So I'm going to offer a couple choices for you. First off, the Daytripper Photo workshops that I'm going to be running, I'm going to go over some of those with you, some of the options that we can do online. And also, it's still kind of hands-on because we can see what each other are doing. We're going to talk about what video platform we're going to use to do that. We're also going to get into some of the cool things you can do when you're a recluse or stuck at home and doing nothing. I do have to warn everybody, this is my cat's room, the office. So at any given point, Dixie could just kind of jump up on me, and here she is right now. Anyway, we'll get to that later. I squirrel very easily. You'll know that. I used to do some shows. We did about 4 years of online web shows using the Google Plus Hangout platform, which is now this YouTube thing, which is now completely different. So when I first said that I was going to be doing these Hangouts, I thought that it would be the same old, and I'd be able to use that platform to invite people in and do that. But now, progress, I guess you could say. So anyway, Deb's watching as well. Hello to you. Okay, so let's get into what we're going to be really getting into today. First off, talking about how Daytripper Photo can offer different learning options for people that want to still get more out of their photography. If you've done a workshop with me, you know that my passion is to make you better than I am. So that's the best part about Daytripper, is there's no other motivation other than just to get you guys excited about photography and into it and understanding what you're doing, being more purposeful. If you've taken my workshop, that's a word I use quite often, being purposeful. I think that it's really good to be out there and shooting an auto and get great photos and share them with the world and everybody likes them. But when you're being purposeful, you're just not shooting fish in a barrel. You will know what you're going to get. You can think about your photo, you can make some decisions and make that photo happen within about 5 to 10 photos or attempts. Or more. That's part of the fun for me, is making those mistakes. Dixie, what are you doing? You want to come say hello to everybody? No, she's quite happy here, just relaxing down on the floor. She'll probably jump up at some point. Okay, so let's see here. One-on-one. We're going to be using the platform called Zoom. I don't know if you've heard of it. I would send you an invite to your email. You'd open that up, and basically it would walk you through the process into getting into this one-on-one conversation. And through that, we're able to do all kinds of things. We're able to do my Bryan workshop. We're able to do, individual mentorships. We're able to do all kinds of different things. I'm really excited about it. Things, for example, like Lightroom workshops. If you want to learn how to edit your photos a little bit better, I can share my screen, and you can actually watch step by step as those choices and changes are being made. So there's a couple different levels that we're going to be doing these Lightroom workshops, and I'm hoping to finalize some of the higher levels still to come, depending on who is available to get into that with you. But for now, we're going to be doing the 101, which is mostly the library module, the 201, which is mostly the develop module, and then 301 will be the last one, depending on how much call there is for it. Folks need to get more involved in their higher end editing, composites, or doing any kind of layering, panoramas, all those really more intricate things that you could do within Photoshop or Lightroom. Those are going to be the 301 option. Actually, I don't know if people know, but you can actually do panoramas and merging things like that in Lightroom now, which is really cool. HDRs, very cool. There's also going to be the option of a multi-week platform for folks that need a little bit more help and want to have a little bit more, like maybe once a week, get together and give you that little bit of motivation that you need, give you some photo challenges, give you some things to talk about and work toward, and then do a photo review the following week, and then give you more challenges and so on. That's an option as well. I find that a lot of people, when you don't have a lot to do, you need a little bit of a challenge. For example, one of the tips that I got when all this started with the COVID-19 was to make sure that every day when you get up, get dressed. I know it sounds silly, but when you're home, it's very easy to fall into that trap where you just kind of, you wake up and you chill. You wake up whenever, you have nowhere to go, so you just chill and you do your own thing. And, next thing you know, it's 8 p.m. and you still haven't gotten changed, and it's just one day blends into the next. So I find for myself, and today I did it, I haven't done it every day. I'm guilty too. That's why I'm talking about it. Today I've found getting up and getting myself prepared for this was so helpful. I was able to, go through my normal morning routine again. I was able to be excited for something to look forward to, like this, talking and having everybody talk. So don't forget, if you do want to be involved in the conversation, if you have any questions, use the chat where you're watching this right now, and that will allow you to get right to talking with me, and I can answer the questions right away. I'm just going to quickly take a second here and share this link to Facebook just to make sure everybody knows that this is going on. Just bear with me for a moment. When I'm streaming, the whole internet slows down. And I thought I was paying way too much for my high-speed internet. Apparently, it's not high-speed enough. Still waiting here. Come on, Facebook. Anyway, for those of you who don't know as well, the Daytripper Photo community on MeWe. Oh, look, here we go. Here's my girl. Yeah, the girl dicks. You just sit right there. The Daytripper Photo community on MeWe is a great resource as well for folks who are looking to get a little bit more out of their photography. You can get a very non-judgmental place for people to have a look at your work, give you some constructive criticism, possibly if you want it. You don't need it. Or possibly even just, give tips on where to shoot and what to do and different ideas. This is what she does. Sometimes she'll come around and sit on this shoulder. It's just, sometimes she's a scarf. You never know. She's basically a big hot water bottle. Anyway, let me see if Facebook has loaded. No, it hasn't. It's very slow. All right. So, again, back to some of the things we can do. The one-on-one idea I still think is my favorite, because when you're connecting with somebody and you're giving somebody a little bit of inspiration or help, and you see that response right away, it's pretty rewarding, for me at least, to have somebody like perk up and understand where you're coming from and all that. It's pretty exciting. But there are group options as well, and the groups are pretty cool. And within the Hangout world, within this Zoom platform, we can actually have several different people, but the workshops are quite a bit shorter. They're only 40 minutes long, as opposed to infinitely long, which unfortunately, when I'm talking, that could be a problem. So, okay, Facebook has just opened here. I'm just going to quickly share this link, and quickly I say, as if the whole computer world is working quickly right now. What should I say about this? Hey, everyone. And post. See if that helps at all. There we go. Cool. Barry's watching. Good day, sir. How are you? Good morning. And this is something I really want to know as well. If we're watching right now, I want to know how you're doing. I want to know how your routine is going. I want to know if you need a little bit of help, if you need some motivation. I want to know if any of this craziness that's going on in the world right now is, oh, hi, how are you? Is turning you upside down. Henry's where I work full-time, or worked, I guess you could say, technically unemployed right now. They just started a mental health foundation, and I'm quite interested to see where this goes, because in this day and age where mental health is a thing, there she goes. I'm just a little walking post. Are you going to stay in here? Are you going to go? Where it is a thing, it's nice to know that your company is supporting you with any kind of mental health options that there are. So I hope if you're all going through this and you're having issues with your own personal mental health, you have somebody to reach out to, you have somebody to talk to. Thankfully, now in this day and age, we have internet, so I can still see if my mom's okay. I can still reach out and call people if I want to on the phone. I can still do these things where, if this had happened back in 1987 when I was living in Vermont, going to high school with nothing, no internet, none of that, this would have been a completely different situation. I don't know if there was as much travel. Maybe there was. I don't know. I'm sure it was just as bad. But bottom line is we have the luxury of internet and online services, so let's take advantage of them. Let's utilize these services. And if photography is your thing, Daytripper may be able to help you out with that. All right, so as far as the mentorships go, doing a multi-week mentorship is one thing. You get repeated visits. We can choose customized timing. We can basically say if you want to do it on Mondays or Tuesdays or Thursdays or whatever. We can plan a weekday whenever it's convenient for you. If you can't make it, you can let me know. We can bump it. I'm not going anywhere. A lot of things you can learn, though, would be to, maybe get into some wildlife photography. I know you don't think that you could do wildlife photography right now, but got a camera? Got a lens? You can do wildlife photography. I can take pictures of my cat. I can practice with the birds in the backyard. Oh, and by the way, have you guys looked outside yet today? Interesting, isn't it? All of a sudden, we're back in winter wonderland. It's like beautiful snow. It's fluffy. Everything's clinging to all the trees. The cardinals are out. I could see myself in about, I don't know, however long it takes to finish this conversation, heading outside and possibly doing some cardinal photography. Because, I've always wanted to take that perfect cardinal photo with the snow and so on. Today's the day to do it. The cardinals are in town, and now's how we do that. So, and by the way, during this conversation, if you guys have questions on how best to photograph, photography tips, why not? Let's get into it. I'm here. You're here. We can chat about that stuff too. For example, do you know what shutter speed you need if you're shooting at 600 millimeters on your camera? There's an equation for that to guarantee sharpness. Richard, hey, how's it going? How are you doing? All of you guys right now watching, I really appreciate it. It's really, really nice. Snowing here in Sarnia as well. Weird world, eh? Weird world. I don't care. I love it. I love it. Winter, my favorite season. You guys may know that about me already. I just think that there's so many more photo opportunities in that kind of environment. I know it sounds weird, but a lot of my photo opportunities that I enjoy most are inside anyway. We're going to get to that. Let's actually do that. Night shooting, long exposure photography. Oh, holy moly. I am furry. I've become a furry critter myself. So yeah, night shooting, long exposure, and light painting. Now, light painting photography is something that I think everybody watching should at least try after you watch this video. It doesn't have to be right now. Obviously, it's pretty bright out. But when it gets dark, you should definitely try this stuff. Let me see if I can pull up a photo and show you what I'm talking about. Photo. I still don't know how to use this hangout thing. I have to use a streamer now. So let me see if I can show you a window capture. Don't know how this works. Yeah, no. It is not working. You used to be able to show all these different windows. I know you can do it. I'm just not really savvy on how. Or maybe this will do it. Nope. Not doing it. I see the window, but it's not showing you. That's okay. At least it's still streaming. And then when we do the Zoom Hangout, it actually works really well. Just the Zoom doesn't stream live to show everybody like the YouTube does. That's why I'm doing it this way. Deb says, I've been retired for 4 years now, and I'm not getting up every day. See, that's the thing. It's another quick tip when you retire as well, right? You want to stay in that routine. Having a routine and going to work, you have to keep that going. Oh, looks like there was an extreme delay, but it did come up on the screen. We'll see if it stays. Anyway, I have already mastered that change. However, it took a while. So I think that a lot of people will have a bit of an advantage that are either retired, with dealing with the habits and so on that we're going through, or people who lived in Vermont for a really long time and don't have a lot of people come over to their house all the time, which is kind of my world. Let's see here. This whole interface is kind of acting funny. I've got 5 different windows open, so pardon me if this is getting a little bit awkward. Anyway, let me see. There we are. Get that away there. Okay, so where were we? Talking about some of the things we can do. Wondering for those staying at home if this is a similar experience. Temporary retirement. Is this like temporary retirement? It kind of feels like it. Like when I got let go from Henry's temporarily, I have to give the temporarily thing. When I got let go from Henry's, it felt like I had literally lost the job. And it's a very awkward feeling. I'd never been unemployed my entire life. So, to go from every single day, being on time, never missing a shift, loving my work, and just every day excited to get into work, to this, it's kind of awkward. I've done a lot of coloring. The adult coloring books, I've done a lot of that. That's been my experience. Bryan mentioned sticking with a routine. You'll probably find out that if that is something you must have to keep you sane, you can do a bit of both, routine and fun. Yeah, Deb's right. There's no strict diligence rule for anything. Have fun. Enjoy the time with your family if you have it. Make the most of it. Have some, play some games, do some stuff like that. Again, like I say, I've been doing a lot of coloring, and I've got a dent now on my finger for it. Hey, it's just as well. I've got a bone out of place from photography. It happens. When you hold the lens like this for a long time, this whole motion right here, my bone right here is kind of pulled forward a little bit. So there's stretches that I have to do now and all this other fun stuff. So I guess there's risks in everything we do. Don't beat yourself up. I can't figure it out right away. I think the photography is a great way to have fun. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what this whole conversation today is all about. It's just to remind people that there are still a lot of things you can do, whether it's learning with Daytripper Photo. And trust me, I understand it. There's money involved in some of that kind of stuff. It's a little bit daunting, especially in this day and age. But you know what? I have no income either, so it has to work. Anyway, that's not the whole point of this. The whole point of this is just to get people motivated and inspired, and to just give you some ideas that you might not have thought about, so that you can do some stuff on your own at home. Light painting I was talking about. Long exposure photography is something where you are basically in full control of the light yourself. Anything your camera sees is only what you put into it. So if you're shining flashlights with color, that's what your camera sees. If there's no light on what you're photographing, it's black. So you can literally pick and choose what you want to see, and you can create stories, and you can do all kinds of things. One of the things I've noticed, though, is a lot of light painters will be doing outdoor light painting, where they have a person and then tubes, and they do all these, big movements and whirls and spirals, and using these acrylic triangular shaped light wands and so on from light painting brushes. I love that stuff. But I'm not really big into doing the outdoor with somebody else photography. I'm more of if I'm doing night photography or light painting, I'm doing it right here. Like literally right here in the office. I have my TV dinner tray that I use. I use a black garbage bag or something, and I put little things on there. I have all my little tchotchkes and stuff like that I pick up, that I keep right over here. That way, if I'm inspired, I can grab, the dragon, and I can light paint fire from his mouth, or I can just think of something different. I remember I did some light painting with one of these balls, and by shining flashlights into it, it almost looked like the light was inside like a little dragon. So there's so many interesting things you can do with a flashlight and some colored gels, and just understanding how light is impacting your camera's sensor. It's a lot of fun, and I really hope to see some light painting photos from folks. Let's see. Richard says, still getting up. Just the trip to my office is shorter. Yeah, exactly. Keeping up with clients and watching the situation, answering a lot of questions. Got to keep moving in some capacity. Heck yeah, we do. exactly. I just realized you were live. Hi, Brian. Hey, Jerry. Yeah, this is the first time I've done one of these live things in a very long time. It's actually been about 2 years since I've done an online hangout, which is a long time. I've gotten a lot grayer. I've lost about 15 pounds or so. A lot of changes. Deb says, and teach your kids, make a video. Oh, that is such a great idea. And there are lots of interesting things in your home they can take pictures of. I'm going to give you guys a photo challenge. I just thought of it. Hang on. Make my notes. Thank you. Thanks, Deb. Make a video. There are lots of interesting things in your home that you can take pictures of. Then print them if you can at home. If you have a printer at home, that's great. I would love to say head over to Henry's and do the things there, but that's not going to happen right away. And then hang them up. Love Brian's ideas. Thank you. Not even done with the ideas yet. We haven't even started with the ideas yet. Okay, on that point, since you mentioned lots of things at home you can take pictures of, there is a photo challenge I would like to issue. And this doesn't have to be the light painting. This doesn't have to be anything else we talk about. But this is something you can do as well. Something I've done, something that's a lot of fun. So here's the deal. It's called naked photography. Now, you might have heard me talk about naked photography in the past because I've done shows on it. And if you haven't heard about it, this could be a lot of fun. So naked photography is not, nude photography. That if you want to, that's up to you. Just don't share those on the community. Naked photography is shooting in JPEG. No editing allowed. Literally 10 foot by 10 foot area you have to shoot in. And find things in that area that are interesting. For example, I'm just looking at my Yeti thermos here. And I don't know if you can see the little bubbles and the patterns that form up on the top here. But that is such a cool... I wash it away with my coffee now, but that's such a cool pattern. That could be an image for macro photography if you have a macro lens, or even if you don't. I'm just looking around this area, and there are so many interesting things that I could use to make photos, whether it's just on the surface, or I can take something apart, or I can, look at different perspectives and try different lenses. You can't try different lenses because the Naked Photography Challenge is one lens, one camera, 10 foot by 10 foot, shooting in JPEG, no editing, absolutely naked photography, no fluff. So if you choose to accept it, there's a challenge, naked photography. Okay, let's get back to some of the other options that we can get to with the mentorship program. The mentorship is one of those things where I find if you need it, it should be there for you. It's not something that I'm going to be doing a lot of, I don't think, because most people, at least the people that I can see chatting with me right now, are fairly savvy. I mean, you all know photography. You don't need somebody to sit on your shoulder and give you tips all the time. But if you are in need, check it out. It's all through the Daytripper Photo website. Again, that's www.daytripperphoto.com. Photo critiques. Some folks, while you're out making your images, want a little bit of advice. Now, it's great to post your pictures to Facebook or Twitter or wherever you share your stuff these days. It depends on who's looking at it, though, because a lot of folks will give you, oh, it's pretty, or click a like, or click a love. I've seen the most likes on a photo of a cat, and not any likes for a miraculous image that somebody was at the right place at the right time and had all their settings set right and did everything right and then edited it and made it look all pretty or whatever. I mean, there are some people that just love cat photos. I do. I mean, Dixie has her own Instagram. Daily Dose of Dixie 2019, if you're ever interested. But, I love cat photos. Bottom line is, it's not the same kind of photo as somebody who spent 4 hours light painting at night with acrylic brushes and wands and a model and, creating this image out of nothing. So if you need a little bit of help, if you want to get some feedback from somebody who is A, not connected to the moment, and B, absolutely going to give you honesty, respect, not talking down to you, and giving you tips and techniques to help improve what you're doing, then that's another thing we can do through mentorship. Or you could do that through the Daytripper Photo community on MeWe. That's free. If you ask for it, I'm there. And obviously now I have a lot more time. So the community is something that I want to make sure everybody understands is a place of safety, a place where you can get help if you need it. Otherwise, offer tips and techniques, and if you've seen a cool thing out there that you want to photograph, share it to that and let other people get the benefit of it. Rosemary is a perfect example of this. You guys all know Rosemary. She has been a member of our Daytripper community for years. Back when it was on Google Plus, she was very active, and she's been coming into Henry's, and she's just an amazing spirit. But all of her photos are something where she's working towards something. She's done ice bubbles. She's done light painting. She's done macro. She's done landscape and wildlife and all kinds of really great things. And she's always trying something different. So that's something that we have to do. And if you need some help with those and you want a photo critique, that's all there for you. Some other benefits as I turn my page of notes, because I have to be prepared. Merely just sharing photos. A lot of people just like to say, hey, look what I did. There's nothing wrong with that. If you don't want to critique, don't ask for it. If you want to critique, simply ask for it and you'll get one. And keep in mind, it's not going to be, critique stands for criticism. And we're not being critical, we're being suggestive. Let's put it that way. Offering tips that you may not have thought about. Things that have worked for us in the past that you might not have thought about trying. That just gives you one extra little nugget of knowledge. And that's all we're really looking for, isn't it? Oh yeah, getting scoops. Now, in normal days, when the world is open, I do work at Henry's full time. And one of the perks of being in the community is you have somebody who's right there working at Henry's, telling you when there's upcoming sales. The family and friends sales, for example, when those are up, they are legitimate sales. Those things are, well, I've been working at Henry's now 14 years, and the only sale that I can honestly say is a sale at this point is the family and friends sale. I don't know when they run. All of a sudden we get a notice a week before the sale starts. Hey guys, tell your people about this. This is going to be huge. And that's what I do. I reach out and I tell my people. So being involved in this community, you get notices on those things. You get Daytripper Photo workshops. Whenever there's a new opportunity, for example, we used to work with the Muskoka Wildlife Center, and I wish they were still around. Everybody that's been there agrees with me and knows why I say this. It was the absolute best photo opportunity that Daytripper has run. They were in cages with wolves, in cages with the lynx, in cages with the silver fox, Luna the owl, beavers that they would bring and put in a little pond for us to take pictures of. Just like the coolest environment. Unfortunately, they're closed. But, when I got an opportunity from these guys, the owner, Dale, called me one night and said, hey, Bri, I've got these new wolf cubs. Do you want to come and take pictures? Cubs? Kits? I forget what he called them. Cubs? Wolf babies? Little wolves. And yeah, I'm like, yes, I absolutely want to set up a session for this. So I put that word out, and 24 hours later it was sold out. And we had that workshop maybe 3 or 4 days after that. It was brilliant. So having these opportunities just kind of fall in my lap to build a workshop around, like there will be one on ice skating, or not ice skating, snowboarding and skating that I'm going to be doing. There's all kinds of different workshops that I have coming up that aren't posted yet. And I can also let you know about these things beforehand because it's a part of the community. And then there's other opportunities, like I shoot for the Vaughan Film Festival, and occasionally I'll get these opportunities where I'll open it up to the community and say, hey guys, who wants experience, like real life, hands-on experience? It's not a course, it's not a class, I'm not training you, I'm not even babysitting you, but it's an opportunity for you to shoot an actual awards dinner, a gala awards dinner. It's essentially, when it's running, of course, unfortunately, this year, it's very sad, very, very sad. The Vaughan Film Festival is not running because of obvious reasons. They have bumped this 8th annual VFF until 2021. So anyway, we're still the photographer for that. And when they have their events, we are the company, Daytripper Photo is the company that shows up and does the photography for them. So whether it's an awards dinner, like I was trying to say, what's the name of that big award? The Grammys or something like that. They have the red carpet. They have the whole thing. If you want to photograph something like that and be a part of that crew, that's also what Daytripper can offer you. So those are some cool things. Shooting locations are always something that we talk about. I will share my shooting locations with the community, not publicly on Facebook, but if you know me, you know my favorite spots. But I will share those to the community, and if anybody else has them, we're a fairly small group of people. We're all respectful. If anybody is the type to show up and, do crazy things, that's not always cool. Oh, look, I'm watching the YouTube stream, and it looks like the second window thing did work. But I have no clue how, and I'm not going to bother with it because I don't need it right now. All right. Let's see. Is there any other question or conversation going on? Not yet. All right, cool. So, inspiration time, guys. Ideas on what we can photograph and so on in this crazy time. So, if you have any suggestions, guys, please feel free to chime in and post those. I'm going to give a couple. One of the things that I thought of last night was, what can we photograph right now that we can never photograph again when this is all over? Now think about it. We are living in a time of, well, everybody's inside. If they're smart, at least they're inside. If they're not inside, get inside. And only go outside on your own. I mean, unless you have the coronavirus, then don't go anywhere. Stay home. But as far as I'm concerned, like, I just went home from work. I'm fine. Shelly's fine. Everybody in our house is fine. And if I want to go at night and take pictures, think about what's going to happen. No more planes. No plane trails through the sky. You can have perfectly clear skies. There's probably less pollution in the air. Everything's probably clearer, probably better for photography at night. Doing long exposures without people in busy areas. There's not going to be too many people out in busy areas. So if you're in Toronto, maybe do some street photography and get some long exposure shots during the day and have nobody in your photo completely. There's so many other things. If you guys have any suggestions, please feel free. For example, today with the snow, this is amazing photography weather. If you go out and you do a trail, there's, I think probably a lot of people are on trails. I've heard stories about people on trails and big groups and people at 99 steps not picking up the poop after their dog poops and stuff like that. Not cool, people. Come on. Think about what's going on. We get madness and people are letting their dog poops everywhere. Not cool. Okay, what other ideas can we do at home? Macro photography. Does anybody know Don Komarechka? Don does some incredible macro. In fact, with the snow falling right now, you could probably take these snowflakes and do some pretty cool stuff. But there's all kinds of other things you can do with macro. I mean, macro photography on an LED panel is pretty cool. You get some really neat patterns and symmetry. Light painting is something you do. If you guys know my buddy Joseph Leduc, you should follow him on Facebook. If you don't know who he is, Joseph Leduc, Leduc. He does some pretty amazing things when he's home alone. And every time he gets bored, he ends up going down into his basement and taking pictures in his prison cell that he has and all kinds of cool things. So, Joe is an amazing guy to follow at this time of year because he's bored and he's making photos of this stuffed teddy bear that he's taking all over the place, and his bear's in prison and his bear's lonely, and it's just hilarious watching Joe's home time photography. I don't know what he calls it, but he should call it something like home time photography. What about natural light portrait photography? There's some beautiful light. If you have windows, have somebody stand there if you're, with your wife or your kids or your pet, and just use the natural light and see how it works and see, the shutter speeds you can get. I did a photo shoot, an impromptu photo shoot with my cat Dixie yesterday. It was a lot of fun. That cat is crazy, I tell you. She does some nuts things. And she's still young enough to be super fast, and it's a lot of fun. Joe, a mentor in another life. Yeah, Dean, that's right. You know Joe from your Army days with Joe. Joe is an Army man, or a military man, let's say. And Dean knows Joe from that, which is pretty cool. Yeah, he's been around forever. I think Joe is like 240 years old. I love him. Hopefully he'll be around for another 500 years. Love Joe. He's like Yoda. He's going to punch me the next time he sees me, if he sees this. Anyway, back to natural light portrait photography. Natural light doesn't have to just be for people or pets. It could also be food. If you are a chef, you have a lot of great time right now where you can sit back and make some cool plates of food and go through all your old plates. Actually, day 2, I think, or day 3, home alone, Shelley went through the cupboards and cleaned everything out. All our old flute, high-end glasses that my brother bought us for our wedding, or all of our crystal and our china. She pulled it all down, cleaned it all up, and it's beautiful stuff. I'm looking at this thinking, I can do some really cool light reflections and refractions with this kind of stuff. So who knows? Maybe I'll do that. One of the things that I've always done is anywhere I am, if I see something that's interesting or neat, like I was talking about earlier, those little tchotchkes that I have behind me, grab one of those things and try something different. Some of my favorite light painting photos have been, just literally a sign. Like I've got one up here. Let me see if I can show you. Yes, I put pants on today. Something like this. This is something I've been waiting to do a light painting with. So it's literally just a piece of wood. This is made in India apparently. Apparently they make these in India. They have a lot of peace there. By using flashlights in different colors, I can light blue behind this hole. I can put red behind this hole over here. I can backlight the entire thing in yellow, and then I can add white in the front just to light up the piece. So you'll see piece in different colors and all kinds of different things. So this is something that I'll be working with as soon as I have that opportunity. By that I mean when I run out of pencils to do my coloring, which is, at the rate I'm going, isn't going to be too long. But there's always things you can do, and everywhere I go, if I find something interesting and fun, I'll grab it and I'll put it in my little Chachi shelf over here. I picked up a Swarovski crystal at the CNE this year for hopefully getting some rainbow refractions or reflections. I don't know what the right word is. I'll ask Don Kamarechka about that. Cannot seem to share a link. YouTube Wild Photo Adventures, 30-minute shows that combine photography and wildlife adventures. Ooh, neat. Wild Photo Adventures, YouTube. Check it out, everybody. Dean gave that suggestion. Barry says, I always enjoy taking night shots at the Blue Water Bridge in Point Edward. Many great reflections to shoot. I like that, actually. Thinking about your photo as something other than just the scene in front of you, but actually for the reflections in the scene. Being very specific, very purposeful, Barry. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You have an idea, you have a vision for a shot, and now you just have to think, how do I create it? Where do I go? What settings do I use? That's the key. A lot of people forget that when it comes to photography, it's very little to do with this and way more to do with, thinking about your image and pre-visualizing. You might have heard of this lesser-known photographer. He was around... I guess he passed away in 1980 or something. Somebody, I don't know if you know this guy, Ansel Adams. Yeah. Ansel coined that phrase, pre-visualization. Think before you shoot. He can go somewhere and make 2 frames, come back, and they're both perfect. You know what I mean? Like, he's thought about his settings. He's thought about his exposure time. He's thought about dynamic range. He's thought about different exposures and so on and so forth in the frame. This is what I'm really getting at, is by thinking about your photo first, you're able to think, all right, well, okay, Dean, you've done the Bryan with me, and you know what I'm talking about right now. When you think about your first image, or the image you're trying to create, what's the first thing you want to think? What's your primary need for this photo? In other words, we're doing a picture of the camera. I want to take a picture of this Nikon D780 right here. How do I want to do that? Do I want to make it look tall or short? Do I want to look from here? Do I want to look from here? Do I want depth? Do I want it to be blurry or sharp? What's my main need in this photo? I would think it would be depth, because I'd focus on the D780, blur away the front, blur away the back, and just draw focus to that and make it look powerful. So my number one need in this photo is depth. Now in photography, what controls depth? Well, we have aperture, we have focal length, and we have proximity. Meaning, I can open the aperture of a lens. What's the lens that I own with the most aperture? I've got a 50 f1.8. Maybe I'll use that. So I'll shoot at 1.8 aperture. Focal length. But wait a minute. If I zoom in further, I can get shallower depth. Well, maybe I'll use this. I mean, this zooms in pretty far. I can zoom into 500 millimeters with this guy. But then I'd have to be standing. No, can't do that. So what else can I do? Well, let's see. Where's my 24 to 85 macro? Oh, look at that, 24-85. And it has macro. I can zoom into 85. I can shoot wide open. I can flip it to macro and get super close. I'm using all 3 of those things, getting shallower and shallower and shallower depth. And now I'm going to make that photo where just the 780's in focus and the rest of it's all out of focus. That's my process. Think about the photo. Think about what I need to do to achieve that photo. and then start trying it and see how it goes. Almost broke the lens. Anyway, that's where I was going with that. Think before you shoot, pre-visualize, and maybe you guys can get out there, do that naked photography challenge, or do some light painting, or do some natural portrait photography or food photography, or you name it. There's so many cool things we can do right now, inside, even outside, in our backyards and our front yards, and try something fun. All right. Anybody else have any questions or any thoughts? Let me know if you have more questions or thoughts. I'm going to let this run for a couple more minutes, but that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to remind you, Daytripper Photo is here for you. If you have any questions, let me know. Whether it's related to photography, you're about to do a photo shoot somewhere, and you need a quick tip, shoot me a text. Get a hold of me on the community and MeWe. Use the group chat there. Get the whole community helping you out. Send me an email, brian@daytripperphoto.com, and I'm going to help you out. I've got the time right now, and until we're back at work full time, this is what we need to do. We need to keep each other motivated. We need to keep each other excited and looking forward to each day. And if photography is your tool to do that, latch on to it. Have fun with it, and keep doing it. Naked Photography Challenge, don't forget. Where do we post the naked photos? Okay, now, Deb, let's rephrase that. You're not posting naked photos. You're posting unedited JPEGs. I want to see no more than 10 photos, because if you can make 10 great photos in that 10 foot by 10 foot area, and don't forget, you're not walking out to different rooms. You're not walking through the house. You're literally staying in this small little area and making 10 photos that are excellent according to you. Share those photos, unedited, untouched. You can share those to the Daytripper Photo community, the MeWe community. If you don't know where that is, go to daytripperphoto.com and follow the link. In fact, now that I think about it, I've changed the homepage of the website to go straight to the COVID-19 information. So I may need to make that a little easier to find. But you can do it there. You can do it through Facebook if you want to. No, do it through the community. Join MeWe. Do it through there. And there we go. Okay, I got it. Just wanted to have some fun. Awesome. Perfect. Yeah, have fun, but not too much fun, Deb. Take it easy. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget that if you need Daytripper Photo for anything, it's www.daytripperphoto.com. Please check out the community on MeWe. Thank you for watching. Jerry, thank you for being here. Knowing that people are watching made this a lot more fun than just sitting here talking to nobody. So very cool. Thanks, everybody, for watching today. And keep shooting, guys. Keep getting motivated. Keep getting up every day, getting in your clothes, and, pretend it's retirement. I guess. Be safe, everyone. Stay home. Practice self-isolation or social distancing and all these other catchphrases that people are talking about these days, basically saying, have some freaking common sense. Don't touch people. Don't touch things people have touched. Stay away from all that kind of crap until this is over. And if you can, just stay home. That's what we're trying to do. We will be going for drives. You have to go for drives. I guess if you're in your car alone, you should be okay, right? I mean, me and Shelly type of thing. Anyway, that's it. Thank you, guys. Mark, Deb, Barry, Jerry, awesome. Love you guys. Take care. See if I know how to turn this thing off.